I'm a recovering overwhelmaholic. I'll have 3 massages every week. Again, it's wage day and I don't have enough cash, or it's bills day and I don't have enough money.
And when you commit, something magical happens.
I'm sick of experiencing this. Thanks for joining me on the Salon Owners Collective podcast. Joel, thank you for joining me once again.
Great to be here.
So today on the podcast, we're going to cover how to recognize if you're an overwhelmed salon owner or not, the one thing that you need to do to get out of overwhelm and back into momentum. And right at the end, we're just going to tell you this little secret trick that's actually going to change your life if you let it. It's so simple.
Sounds good.
All right. So, Joel, last week we ran an epic event, Life on Purpose Intensive.
We did. We ran Life on Purpose Intensive here in Wellington. It was incredible.
I reckon we could say it was a huge success. It was heaps of fun. Tell us a little bit about it. What were the highs and lows?
Oh, there's predominantly like 476 highs. And just being honest, I don't think there was any lows. Like, we had a whole bunch of people fly in from different parts of the world, a bunch from New Zealand as well. People arrived. We had some epic conversations over some cocktails. Can I say that? Yep. It's an adult show with some cocktails. And then we spent a couple of days just diving deep into different parts of people's businesses. We did awards. We celebrated people for the momentum, the profit that they were in. Oh, we did so much. We broke boards. We had some epic conversations. And you know, the thing that I love the most about Intensive, Riss, is that I know that every single one of those owners that came to Intensive has a lot going on in their world. Like, they've got families, they've got teams, they've got other priorities and things. But to actually be present for 2 full days and to be in that moment together and be like, nothing else in the world matters. You know, that moment of presence, that was freaking awesome. It was so good.
Life on Purpose, Business by Design were the outcomes of those 2 days. So we are heading to Fiji next year. Are you a little bit excited about that?
I'm so excited about that. I feel like the moment that we announced that, like, the ticket sales just doubled, like, more than the people that were in Intensive. Like, there's more people coming, like, how did that happen?
That's actually true. I don't know if you noticed, we're actually at this, we've already sold for next year's Intensive the same amount of tickets that came to this year. And so that's 50% of Fiji tickets gone and done. So I'm super looking forward to that. Changing lives.
Oh, so much so. And in such a authentic, real, human-centric, awesome, relaxing, and motivating way.
Nice. So what's really interesting, Joel, on the back of lots of celebration, lots of wins, we gave away some really powerful business awards. But over the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 different conversations with 3 different owners on the same topic. And it's really interesting to see people winning and also being overwhelmed at the same time. And I thought, I really want to talk about this because it's around us, it's happening, and it is not only for people who are only overwhelmed. You can win and be in overwhelm. You can be not winning and be in overwhelm. It is not only for the people that are terrible.
Yes, yeah, well said. That's so elegant. It's not only for the people that are terrible. No offense intended. But
exactly. So I thought let's talk about that, because I think I know for me I'm a recovering overwhelmaholic because I am driven. I want to achieve a lot, and I'm always doing a lot. And my hobby, like what I love to do, my hobby is work on my business. My husband loves to go in his garage. He works on his car. That's his hobby, and he goes and plays football. My hobby is I go work on my business. Not in my business, on my business. Like, that's my hobby. So I can really easily get into overwhelm because I want and expect a lot from my business. So I think it's probably normal. So I feel passionate about this topic because I'm a recovering person and I'm always trying not to go back there.
Yes, yeah, makes sense.
So I thought, well, let's talk about like what are the things, how can we tell if we're in overwhelm and what does that look like? Like how does that manifest in our lives? And I guess the one way to think about it is if you're having the same problem reoccurring and coming up for you all of the time. Like, is there one thing or one person that's holding you back or that you constantly hit a roadblock? Typically, they show up as things like there's not enough money. Again, it's wage day and I don't have enough cash, or it's bills day and I don't have enough money, or I want to renovate, I don't have any money, or I'm not paying myself because I don't have any money. That's really overwhelming. That's stressful.
Yeah, there's a pattern. It keeps emerging, and it's just on repeat, isn't it? And it's like at the unconscious level, there's probably some sort of like, here we go again. I'll figure this out again.
Yeah. The other one is not having enough time to do the things that you want to do. So there's either too many things with the time that you have available, um, or you haven't created enough time to do the things that need to be done. And so you're jamming too many things. So again, you're hitting the roadblock constantly of feeling overwhelmed with too much weight on your shoulders and not enough time to deal with them, or not enough resources to deal with them.
Yeah, that jamming, that like I've got so much on my plate, and maybe it doesn't come out as I don't have the time. Maybe it does. I've definitely heard that before. But that can definitely cause overwhelm. I totally know what you mean, Risk, by that.
Especially if you feel responsible for the things and you don't have time to do the things that you're responsible for. Like, I'm responsible for these humans, I'm responsible for children, I'm responsible for so many things. And like that feels like a really heavy weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, like just even listening to you say that last sentence, like one could actually get overwhelmed from just summarizing all of the things that I'm responsible for, you know?
Yeah. So I think, where does that come from? How do we get ourselves in a position like that?
Yeah, good, good, good. I think so there's those like I don't have time, I don't have money, which are actually like you see that stuff happening. Like you look at the bank account, it's not there. You look at the clock, there's not enough left. And I think you can not have enough money and you can also not have enough time and not be an overwhelm. You just, we probably call that running
You
a shitty business.
can.
But like,
You
I
can
see
do that.
people out there and they're like, "Oh, it's fine, it's all good." It's like, what's it like on Wednesday? It's like, yeah, we don't normally have enough. And how are you going with executing those big goals and trips? Like, yeah, I never have any time, but they're not actually an overwhelm. So just want to acknowledge that what you said, I absolutely agree with. And there's another layer, and that other layer is often the internal aspect of overwhelm. And most of us would call overwhelm an emotion, but sometimes we wouldn't actually label it and say, I feel overwhelmed.
Hey, it's me again. I just wanted to interrupt and jump in here quickly to say thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate you being here. Just one question though. If you are listening to this episode and thinking, oh my God, this is me, but I'm just not sure what to do, well, don't worry. I've got some strategies for you. The Salon Mastery program will help you develop and implement a 100K team, 100K mindset, strategies and steps designed to help you lead your team to enjoy 100K careers and install the 100K mindset and motivation so you can help build that inside of your team. The systems, the processes to master the 100K day so you can build the $1 Million Salon. So I want to invite you to join me for a complimentary $1 Million strategy call. We'll discuss your business, your role in the business. Let's see if I'm the right person to help you grow your business and your team. Together, we can reach the $1 Million mark. All you need to do is click the Apply Now button in the show notes of this very episode. You're welcome to book a time, a strategy call. We'll have a chat. All right, that's enough for me. Let's get back to the episode.
And it's kind of a little bit like the alcoholic thing. Like, hi, I'm Joel, I'm an alcoholic. Like being able to recognize overwhelm is actually, it's quite important. So other emotions like anxiety, for example, which we're all really familiar with, that's often closely related to overwhelm as well. Feeling like super irritable. Or here's another one, is like helpless or hopeless. I think those emotions are often reflective or indicative that you could be experiencing overwhelm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I tell you the one that shows up for me, Joel, is do you know when something goes wrong, like I go to close the cupboard and it doesn't close, or something hits me on the head, or I'm trying to carry too many bags out of my car and I get shitty. And I'm like, that really irritates me. But like in the scheme of life, it is like a tiny blip. And when I notice myself getting shitty, or my child says something and I'll snap back and I was like, oh, actually, it wasn't even about you, but there's something that's a bit irritable inside me. Like that's when I know, okay, Larissa, go look for something's making you feel overwhelmed. It's not actually that the fact that the car door didn't shut properly. There's something else going on. I need to go and think about that.
And that's actually a great segue because, when you take a step back and you look at why this is actually happening, and this is not rocket science, this is like really simple, is you expect that you can carry 3 bags and do it perfectly.
That's
You
right.
expect that you can look after the kids really well, be present and focused, and run an epic business. Like you've got these expectations, and when we don't meet them, that can result in the feeling or the reality of overwhelm. And so, in that situation, it's kind of like, I guess, two choices. One is, well, I can stop setting goals and having expectations, and life would be pretty mundane. Or,
Careless.
yeah, care less, like give a or I could actually figure this thing out and learn how to work through this thing called overwhelm. Because, hey, here's the thing, nothing lasts forever.
True. This too shall pass, I feel like
You
saying.
shall pass.
Well, I think if you've recognized that actually I'm a bit overwhelmed because I'm shitty and I'm snappy and I have high expectations for myself. I want way better than what I'm experiencing right now, or I'm sick of experiencing this. Then I reckon there's a really simple. There's the one thing that you should do. Like there's only one thing that
That's
you
a
should
great,
do.
I love it already. Like simple is powerful.
But do you know what the one thing is, Joel?
Tell me what the one thing is.
Just do one thing. Like the one thing to do is to just do one thing. So typically, if you're overwhelmed, you've got a lot of things to do and a lot of responsibilities. And what I want you to think about is like, what is, if I had held a gun to your head and I said to you, you're only allowed to do one thing, what is the one thing that that would actually make an impact, would get you into momentum, move you out of like, just think about it right now. You know the one thing that's actually in your way. If you just stop for a moment and ask yourself, like, what is it? What's the one thing? And then when you're clear on that, that if you just solved this one problem, a whole bunch of stuff would get better. Like, what is that? And then I give you permission to let everything else go. I give you permission to let everything else go because I want you to remember that your business will always be broken. You cannot fix everything all of the time. Like, if you're in business, you're a smart person. If you're in business, you know how to get shit done, but you can't do all the things at once. You can do the things, but you can't do all the things at once. So we need to bite the elephant one bite at a time. And I give you permission to let everything else go so you can fix the one thing, and it's okay for everything else to be broken just for a short time while you fix the one thing.
I love it. So figure out the one thing that's going to cause the most amount of difference.
Mhm.
Choose the one thing and say no to the other things.
Correct. Doesn't have like, don't get caught up and get overwhelmed about choosing the right thing. Like, it's not the perfect right thing. It's got to be the right thing. Like, the right thing is not, I'm so stressed, I'll have 3 massages every week. Like, that's probably not the right thing. That's not going to actually move your business forward.
It's not gonna.
Like
That
a
is
massage.
It's going to be it's going to deal with the overwhelm for the hour, but then afterwards I think it will have an opposite effect. It's like shit.
Exactly, exactly. Like, it's got to be something that's actually going to move you, your business, or whatever the overwhelm thing is. Like, you want to start something, you want to fix the thing, and you want to complete something so the problem doesn't reoccur. Whatever it is, it might be the one team member who you just know you need to get rid of, but you've been putting your head in the sand because it's hard. Like, frickin' heck, remove that person so you and your team can get on with growing a good business. You know you need to let them go.
Just really quickly, like as you know, we deal with owners all the time that are trying to have the hard conversation, and they've been umming and ahhing for ages, and time is passing, and overwhelm is building. And then we go, here's how you have the conversation. They go and have the conversation, go, oh my gosh, it was actually really easy. They understood, and now I feel confident, capable, and they see the world of business and leadership differently. Like that one thing
Do
creates
the thing.
so much more. Do the thing. You got to do the thing.
Do the thing. So it might be the one person. It might be that you don't have enough time and you're too busy serving clients, and who the frick is running your business? Get off the floor. Like, do the thing. You don't have to get off the floor 100% of the time, but like, what is the one thing? Go and deal with that so you can get back into momentum. Now, typically, it will be one of two things. You're either going to do something that's going to make more money. Like, if the money doesn't meet, the money doesn't work, nothing works. Deal with the money thing. Do you need to get the money up? Do you need to stop spending so much money so there's money at the bottom? Deal with the money thing, because you need to deal with money. Like, what money makes the world go round. It's called currency. Deal with it. Got to sort it out. Or the other thing might be just something that needs to make life better. It might be a system. It might be get off the floor. It might be the person. Like, what's going to remove the pain so you can get back into momentum. Is that
100%.
useful?
So good. So good. And then functionally, like, how do you actually do that? Like, is there something that we should?
So I'm going to give you a little, just like, this is such a simple trick that you're going to be like, really? Larissa, really? Is that like your special trick? But honestly, this is the special trick. So now that you've got the thing, how long is the thing going to take? And now I want you to go and put it in your calendar. Like, somewhere in the next 7 days, I need you to go and find 3 hours in your life. If you are fully booked 40 hours of the week, do it on Sunday. I don't really care. You've got to find somewhere. The challenge is to find 3 hours somewhere in your calendar, put it in your calendar, and be really clear about what you're going to do in that time and do the thing.
So good. Pull over, stop the podcast, put it in your calendar. And here's the last thing. Can I just throw one other thing in there? Once it's in your calendar, like, you can't like avoid the calendar. Like, you actually have to. If it's Sunday at 5 a.m. when everyone else is asleep, you got to get up, you got to dress up, and you got to show up, and you got to commit. And when you commit, something magical happens. And you remember this from a month ago, a year ago, maybe even a decade ago, when you were fully committed. The world, business, team, universe conspires, and it gets on your side. So make no mistake, once you figure out the one thing, once it's in the calendar, you got to commit.
Amen. All right. So if you want help finding your one thing, if you want help building a game plan, if you want help with accountability and getting real clarity on what that thing is, and then the thing after that, then my invitation to you is join me on a strategy call. I'm going to leave the link to have that call in the show notes of this podcast. Salon Mastery might be the right place to get the clarity, the help, the accountability, and the strategy plan to take you to the next level, get back into momentum. You can tell me a little bit about you, about your business, about the salon. What is the one thing that's holding you back? Let's talk about it. I'll leave the link in the show notes. I look forward to connecting with you. Joel, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast again. Come again.
Cheers.
That's it from us. Ciao for now.
Ciao.